You're listening to Big Blend Radio's A World Party with Nancy and Lisa, publishers of Big Blend magazines. And we're excited to chat with our next guest, world traveler Alison Abbott. She's an award-winning travel writer and photographer, and she focuses on sustainable shades of green living. Her travels have taken her around the globe to off-the-beaten-path destinations from India to the Amazon, Alaska, to Chernobyl, in Ukraine. I mean, she's been all over. It's awesome.
You know, they just elected their new president, and he's a comedian, and they elected him.
I think it's
a really good idea.
You know what? That's perfect because today is Presidential Joke Day. We're in Little Rock, Arkansas, airing from the Doubletree Inn. I've got to give them a shout out. Great place to stay, by the way. If you're in downtown Little Rock, you're next to everything. You've got river views. It's awesome. But we are in presidential country for sure here in Little Rock. But anyway, we've got Alison joining us here, and I want you to go to her website. Her blog is greenwithrenvy.com. So it's envy with an R. So greenwithrenvy.com. And, in our world travel shows, we always like to interview writers, our members of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. That's how we connected with her. And I encourage you, if you're a travel writer, blogger, foodie, a wine writer, or a destination, to go to ifwtwa.org. It's an awesome organization. So welcome, Alison, how are you?
Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Hey, this is awesome. So you've been moving, you've been traveling, and apparently this summer you went to Chernobyl this year, right?
It was actually last summer, but I was in the Ukraine, and we had quite an amazing experience there. Yeah, it was
That's
before
a once
all
in a
the
lifetime
HBO special. I think it was probably a good thing that we went before the special had been on, because I'm not so sure I would have been so brave after seeing parts of that.
Yeah. We interviewed a doctor who went over there and took photos, and it's pretty freaky. Do you look at energy in a different way now?
Absolutely. I mean, it was, parts of it felt a little staged, like it was almost being set up for the Instagram crowd, which I think has followed in droves after the special on TV. But it was heartbreaking and heart-wrenching at the same time to see it all, and very eye-opening.
What led you to the world of travel? Were you a traveler with your family as a kid?
We did travel quite a bit in the United States when I was growing up. But I think what really got me into it was right after college, I started a women's clothing manufacturing company. And we, by luck, ended up with a factory in the Philippines and did a lot of travel in Asia, Hong Kong and China. And I think that's where I really caught the bug to travel. So I was involved in that for about 20 years. And then in 2000, sold the company, but was definitely smitten with travel and all of the experiences I had had, and couldn't wait to do it more.
Oh, man, that's cool. I mean, it's interesting how business takes you around, but then you start just venturing off into different things, and you do photography as well and writing. And so Green with Renvy, what is the Renvy?
Well, I started the blog after I sold my clothing company. I had always wanted to renovate houses. And so I was in the midst of doing that and trying to do it in as sustainable a way as possible by using green materials. And then I was interested in getting information out about how to do it. And that's why I started. So it was Renvy is a play on Green with Envy, obviously. And the green part of it is the eco-friendly. And Renvy is renovating your life. So that was how it all kind of came together. And then the housing market, the bottom dropped out of it. And I decided that I had had enough time renovating houses and I could move on. And I had always wanted to travel a lot more. So I had been doing a little bit of travel on the off periods in between the house renovation, and just started traveling more and more. And then I won a ticket to TBEX, which is the Travel Bloggers Conference in Toronto, and went to the conference. And that sort of changed everything. And I realized that there was this whole world out there that I could make a living somewhat doing it, and and I was so passionate about traveling that it was something that I really wanted to do, and everything kind of fell into place.
Oh, yeah, because you definitely have the creativity to do this kind of thing, the creativity and the open mind, open eyes, you know what I mean? I think when you do a lot of travel, run businesses, and renovate, I mean, you've got the devil's in the details for that, right, with houses too, that you have that whole package put together. And you've won quite a few awards too. So that's got to be really cool. Yeah, I was looking at all of this.
It's validating because writing can be such a solo career until you're out in the world. Spend a lot of time behind the computer, and so it's really nice to be recognized by your peers. Certainly, yes.
Yeah, and you belong to a lot of organizations, including IFTWA, the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. How long have you been a member with them?
I think this will be my 4th year.
Cool.
Early on, I had applied for a trip with Viking with them, and got on the trip, and so I met a lot of the members. I think there were 10 of us on the trip through that, and it's a wonderful organization, and I was looking for a group with a little bit older membership because I'm a baby boomer, and as you know, social media is inundated with millennials and younger people. So it was nice to connect with a group of writers who were a little bit older and perhaps having some of the same struggles that I was having, and someone that we could, feed off each other and learn from each other. So that process has been great.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I think it's interesting what's happened in the travel world with Instagram and all of that, and I wonder if that shoe is going to fall at some point, where if there's good Instagrammers, and we've interviewed a number on IFTWA, the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association, and they have the content to back up with what they're doing, which is great. But there's a lot of Instagrammers just go, look at me here, look at me here, there, and it's like eventually you've got to do a little bit more than look at me, and so you have to have that combination of some kind of content that you're educating or entertaining, informing people.
Especially when you're promoting a destination, you want to see the destination, not necessarily someone in a bikini on the beach all the time. And I think there's room for all of us in the industry, but I think there will be a fallout. And I think when hotels or destinations are spending a lot of money to bring people to an area, they want to see results. And I don't know that that's necessarily the case with a lot of the Instagram. Yeah. So I think there will be sort of a come to Jesus, as you will, somewhere down the road, and I don't think that's too far off.
I don't either. I think it's you want to have some information, and it's just an interesting thing that you just see. It's like, oh, this, that, the other, but look, we have a sock monkey, Priscilla, our pink sock monkey. She's our travel mascot, and she gets to be in photos. We hate it. We don't want anybody to take our photo. It's like, no, we do radio for a reason.
I hear you. I'm not very comfortable in front of the camera either, but I have to say that people like, when you are engaging with people online, they do like to see you at least every once in a while. So you have to get in front of the camera every once in a while.
I know.
Just to be sure you're not like one of those little robots.
Yeah. So, and now it's so easy to get pictures from the internet of anywhere. So you kind of want to be authentic, and, I was there, and here's a picture of me there. So you know what I'm saying is really from the heart and not just something I've gotten off of the internet.
That's really true. It's really true because, the days of scalping, too, need to be watched as well. I think we're coming to this. You have to be authentic. You have to have you write something unique, take unique photos as well. Not always the same thing that everybody does. And I think that's something important as a traveler, travel writer, photographer, being able to get photos that aren't the same photo that everybody else has taken. It's hard
it's
to
really
do that
important,
too.
I think, to find your niche. And kind of stick to it, and although it can be tempting to go in a lot of different directions just because there is so much out there. I think people get used to coming to you for a certain perspective, and they look for that.
So when you travel, you're more on the sustainable side, right? So do you look at green lodging, green attractions, like ecotourism destinations?
I try to. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's certainly my focus. And I think there are so many different aspects that you can pick for being responsible when you travel. It doesn't have to be this all-encompassing thing. Some people are overwhelmed because there's a lot of greenwashing out there. And how do you know what sites are legitimate when they call themselves green? And I think, so if you take it back to basics and do things like bringing a reusable water bottle and skipping the straw and trying to eat local. I mean, those are all things that are in your control, and you can do that right out of the box, and those are responsible travel pieces. So I don't think it has to be a very complicated thing. It can get overwhelming, and so I try to get that across on my writing, just so that you can just pick one piece and make a difference.
Yeah, go to farmers markets and things. It is about the local. Like where we are now in Little Rock, Arkansas today, we went to a restaurant called the Root Cafe. Everything is sourced locally. They have a map on the wall showing where all their local ingredients come from, and they're just teaching the community. So it's kind of this community restaurant, but as visitors, you're just like, you walk in, they have, coffee cups that are just coffee cups that they maybe bought from a flea market or something, because they're all different, so they all have character. And the food was so, Nancy's, that was good. That was really a good meal, and it was really, I think.
What did you eat?
You know what? I've never had this before, but
she had carrots for breakfast.
Carrots and peppers on my eggs. It was banh mi. I've never had banh mi before, and it just sounded, nice and fresh, and it was. Nancy had a biscuit and sausage, and that was the best biscuit you've had, I think.
Yes, it was, minus the huge amounts of baking powder that people tend to put in biscuits. And that you get that aftertaste, and this was just nice and creamy and buttery tasting, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's funny how something as simple as a good biscuit can elevate your whole meal.
That's true. Yes. What did you eat in the Ukraine?
Yeah, what did they eat there?
They had great food. I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat meat. And most of where we were traveling wasn't really on the water, so I wasn't too keen on eating a lot of fish there. But they had incredible vegetables, really, really good. Lots of beets, and I love beets. So I was happy to see those on every plate. They had some local cheeses that were delicious. The food was really, really good. We had great raviolis. We had a cooking lesson where we learned to make the ravioli, varenki it's called, and they're dumplings. And they stuff them with cheese. They stuff them with sweets, with cherries. That's a big thing there. And just really creative. I had homemade crackers in one restaurant with some sort of pea hummus that was delicious, and surprising things that I didn't really know what to expect, and I was so pleasantly surprised.
That sounds good. I mean, pea hummus. I've had pea guacamole, and it was, Nancy's just shaking her head. She just said, no, that's it. You don't mess.
You said pea.
Oh, because I said pea. That's an ongoing childish joke we have on this show. But the pea guacamole was really good, and I would never have thought that. I know, but it was good. But it's interesting. I think food, when you go, that is one of the steps, and when you think about sustainable tourism, is going to restaurants that are authentically real to the region, because then they're going to have to use the local, local goods. You did a lot of travel in India, so that's got to have some really good food too. I mean, that's like yum.
Yeah, India is definitely my favorite country. It's for a number of reasons. I manufactured there for quite a few years, so we had a lot of contacts. And my best girlfriend from college, had been there during school for a dance term, and so we both had this very close tie to India and started traveling there together. And we try to go every year or every other year to different areas of the country. So I think I've been 8 times, and it just is a wonderful place, but not everybody loves it. I love curry, so I'm always very happy. And they have most of the population is vegetarian, so they have a lot of really good vegetarian food there. And bread.
Oh, yeah,
sauces.
the flatbread, the chapatis.
Yeah.
Chapatis. I love chapatis. We grew up, because we lived in Kenya and South Africa, so Indian food was like a part of our diet. Like, we have Mexican food here. It's Indian food over there that's just really, every corner shop or cafe you'd have that, a really good curry or a curry bunny or samosas. And everybody does that differently. But
see, that's like a meat pie.
It is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like the meat pies in Louisiana. So where have you not been that you really, really want to go, that like you just keep eyeballing out as your next destination?
I really want to go to the Maldives and Tahiti and that area. I'd say that would be the top one on my bucket list. But I'm happy traveling pretty much anywhere. I want to go to the stands. Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan and Georgia. I hear the food is wonderful in Georgia, and apparently that's where wine originated. So I'd love to go and kind of see what that's all about. And I think it's becoming a more popular destination, so I think that'll come up on people's radar soon.
I've been hearing a little bit more and more about Georgia, and I think it is. Wine tourism has really grown over the last 10, 15 years. When you think back, it really has grown, and different generations enjoying wines and learning the processes. And maybe the beer thing pushed it too,
Yeah. Well,
America's
craft
in the beer.
anything seems to be a big...
Yeah.
Getting to taste small brewers or small makers seems to be very popular. And it all goes back to responsible tourism, too. Usually if they're small makers, then they're local, and you're supporting the local economy.
The other thing, you were talking about going on Viking cruises, the river cruises. I think that's more of a sustainable cruising option than sometimes the really big ones, the really big boats, don't you think?
Yes. Big cruise ships do not do any favors to the environment, that is for sure. And some of the really large ones have been fined a lot of money for dumping let's focus on the more sustainable ones. I love small ship cruising. I went to Alaska on the Inside Passage with Adventure Smith on a small, the boat was called the MV Westward, and it was this incredible old canning ship. There were 9 passengers, and that was one of the most interesting trips. And the food that they were able to come out of that kitchen was just remarkable. I mean, fresh salmon that we would have, and stopping and getting local vegetables every day. The chef was amazing. And it was a beautiful trip because it was such a small boat. We could get all in these nooks and crannies that normally you wouldn't be able to see on those big cruise ships.
I want to go on a cruise to Alaska like that. I want to also take that. There's a ferry that goes across too, and I've always wanted to go there, but we haven't made it to Alaska yet. But there's always the yet word is my favorite word, and I want to go just to see the whales and the grizzlies and the moose. It's the animal thing for me. When you go to a destination, do you seek specific types of activities?
I love to do a little bit of soft adventure because I like to be active when I'm traveling. All that good food comes at a cost.
Yeah, tell me about it.
As long as we can be hiking and getting outdoors, that's always good. And certainly when we were in Alaska, we saw grizzlies and hiked a lot, and were able to see whales, and that the wildlife was big. And I think when you travel with some of these more eco-friendly companies, like that was a trip with AdventureSmith, and there's another company called Uncruise that does a lot of really wonderful cruising, and wildlife is a big component of the itinerary. So sure, I love to be able to see animals around the world. But
yeah, the animals, it's always neat. I still want to see a moose. I haven't seen one yet, and we were supposed to see them in Colorado, and we didn't.
Well, you'll get there.
Not at all?
No.
No.
Just timing of things, I suppose. But, you know, we go in circles the way we travel. So, you know, we'll get there. We'll get there with them for sure, you know. When you travel as a travel writer, I wanted to touch on that too, because we all travel differently, and you're like, okay, you want to go with the right, you know, group of people and everything. Do you tend to write things down, or since you do photography, are you more inclined to use your camera also as like a note keeper?
Well, originally I started writing everything down because I love to take a notebook with me, and then I just couldn't manage carrying an iPhone and a camera and a pen and paper. So I started using my iPhone to record people talking, and that seems to have been a good solution. I like to write in a little notebook, but it just doesn't work very often. And I tend to miss things because I'm trying to take the picture, and so, you know, you'll miss what they say, and it's almost like you have to focus on one or the other. And
yeah,
for a particular incident.
Yeah, I'm like that too. Are you going to go to the conference, the International Food Wine Travel Writers Association conference?
I really want to. I have never been to Santa Fe. Will you all be there?
No, unfortunately, we're going to be in Nevada. Not unfortunately for Nevada, because we love where we're going there. We're covering part of the Pony Express Trail, but we did go to Santa Fe. We were recently there. And everyone, this conference is, and it's open to non-members too, I believe. This conference is in November, and Santa Fe, New Mexico. You talk about sustainability, talk about really good food that is authentic to a region. Oh my gosh! And then you still have the nature and the history, the art. It is probably one of the most unique places we've been to. I mean, the city itself, the downtown district, has really preserved its character. I mean, for years, hundreds of years.
Yeah,
and you don't often see that.
I would love to go to the conference. I'm going to be in Kenya for 2 weeks in October, and I hope I can do it all. It's just that, you know, whenever you come back from one of these press trips, you always have a lot of work to do.
So tell us where you're going in Kenya, because that's where where we lived for a number of years.
Well, we're flying into Nairobi, and then we're going north. The group is Eloana, and they're a hotel group, and so we're going to 5 of their different campsites. So we'll be sleeping in tents and sleeping in under the stars one time, and sleeping in a treehouse, and then I think it's really going to be a remarkable trip. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, Kenya is magical. Have you traveled through Africa before?
I've never been except to Morocco. So this will be a whole different experience for sure. And I can't wait to see all the animals.
Oh, you're going to trip out. It is mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. We used to live just outside Nairobi, but Nancy worked with Joy Adamson. I don't know if you've heard of Elsa the Lion, Born Free.
Oh, sure.
So she worked for her. The real Joy Adamson, not the movie. And then
not the movie one.
Yeah, right. But lived in the bush working for her, and we lived out there, and it's just a magical Kenya. There's no place like it. Once you go, you're going to want to go back.
You're going to want to go back again and again.
It gets under your fingernails like the red dirt over there. And
that's what I always say about India. So I'll look forward to getting another place like that.
It is like that. You feel like you've come home. It's like the mother. You know, I know that everyone says, you know, Africa's a mother continent, and it really is. It's there's something really special and magical. The animals, the flowers, the plants, because you're in the equator and you have this wonderful tropical zone, and but mist and desert, and it's just, you're going to love it. And the treetops lodging is absolutely unique and magic. That's awesome.
Actually, one of the camps we're going to is Meru.
Meru.
Yeah, Meru.
Yes, and I know I'm going to say all the names wrong. And they have an Elsa camp there, Elsa's camp.
That's where Nancy was. Yeah. And Meru, Nancy, where Elsa's camp?
Yes.
Yes.
That's fun. You're right in the middle of the bush.
Yep.
Yeah.
At least that was a long time ago when I went. So,
I think it's a site of George Adamson's original camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because
that's
Joy
exciting.
was very.
Yeah.
Joy was very nobody gets to know anything type of person. She was always afraid somebody would go after Elsa and kill her and her cubs, and so she was always very secretive about where we were.
I bet. Very protective. Sure.
Well, and she knew something was going to happen, and she got murdered. So there you go. At the end of the day. So
she wasn't wrong.
They both did amazing things. George Adamson is just, he's a hero of mine. I think he did so much for Lions and really a unique. Yeah, you're gonna enjoy yourself so much. That's so cool that you're going to Kenya. Oh my gosh. And yeah, you'll get all the names. The only way to learn names is to go to the country or go to the place. If that's the only way to learn them.
Completely agree.
Yeah, it's funny because some people say Kenyan or Kenya. Everybody has a different way.
When you get there, there's 49 different tribes, and they all say the words differently with a different pronunciation anyway. So one time it's going to be Miru, then it's going to be Meru, then it's going to be Meru. So you can say it.
That's not good for me.
Well, all I can say is I'm green with Renvi now because I want to go there, and I think it'll be a completely different experience than Chernobyl. Chernobyl, that's creepy. I think that's creepy.
Yeah.
But you did other things in the Ukraine to kind of balance that, right? I mean, you didn't spend long in there, right?
It was not the focus of the trip. And we were in Kiev for quite a bit of it, and then to Lviv, which was such a charming place, and that's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The whole city, the old town is, and they have an amazing coffee culture there. And as I said before, the food was delicious, and the churches, and everything was just wonderful.
Man, awesome. Well, it's good. We just did. I think it was a lady from Ukraine or Czech. It was Ukraine. And we were just in Natchitoches, Louisiana. And we had a lesson on painting eggs, Easter eggs.
Oh, Ukrainian eggs, sure.
Yeah, with how they use beeswax and everything to do the painting on the outside for Easter. And man, those things are beautiful. And it's like it's almost like quilting on an egg with what they do.
It's so time-consuming.
Yeah, it was really cool to see at this folk festival. So, yeah, well, you got to go to the actual country. That's even better. But everybody. I wanted to make sure your website's out there, greenwithrenvy.com. So that's RENVY, greenwithrenvy.com. You're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, Facebook, you're all over, right? For everyone to follow
definitely.
you.
All with the same name, sure.
Yeah, so keep that going. And I'm going to be following you, especially, I follow you on Twitter too. I'm always watching everyone on whatchamacallit, the hashtag. The Iftois hashtag.
Oh, Iftois.
It's like a hobby. Watching where everybody's been.
It's a good way to get a lot of travelers in one hashtag, because we're all going different places, and so the whole membership. Well, not everybody uses it, but the ones that do, it's a great thing to watch.
Before you go, I did want to ask you this. I always love to ask writers this. For someone just getting into the world of travel writing and in blogging and photography, what tip would you give them?
Not to wait until you think everything is perfect. It's hard to take that first leap and press publish, but do it. And then the rest of it becomes so much easier. I know in the beginning it took me quite a while to just get out there, because you're nervous about putting your first writing out there, but just do it and everything comes. And there's a steep learning curve, but the world is very helpful. you can learn how to do anything on Google. And I think there's a lot of groups out there that want to see new people who are really interested in writing and travel and getting the word out about what a wonderful place the world is. Just to get out of your comfort zone and see other things helps us all be better people and better citizens.
Oh, I like that. I agree. Don't you agree? Like, turn off the news and go travel and see it for yourself. You know, I'm not saying put your head in the sand. I'm just saying, like, you know, just get out. Get out there and do it. Go travel.
I think
it changes.
A lot better to see for yourself and make your own decisions about what's dangerous and what's not.
Exactly. Well, listen, have a wonderful time in Kenya. I'm so excited for you, and I'm going to be waiting for your blogs and posts and stories about it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you for having me. I know I was so nervous beforehand, and you ladies are lovely to talk to, so thank you.
Thank you. We had a good time chatting with you. It's always fun to chat with fellow travel writers. You just want to start talking about every single country and every single town and every piece of food, you know. Okay, wait. What is the worst, the most disgusting thing you've ever had? I've got to ask that because there are, you know, I'm not trying to knock a culture or their food, but, you know, you step out of your comfort zone or you take a bite outside of your comfort zone and it just sometimes it's hard.
I had some stinky tofu in China.
Okay, that's cute.
That was pretty bad.
But
it was I never need to eat again.
Yeah, that's the way I should put it. What is something you've had that you don't need to ever do again? Exactly. And have you ever had lutefisk?
No, what is that?
Stinky fish from Norway or Sweden in a can.
It's a can of stinky fish.
Oh, there is I'm going to have to send you a link. There is a piece on Facebook of someone eating that, and I had tears rolling down my face. It was the funniest thing I ever saw. And it's just a show. So I will definitely send you.
There's nothing like a good lutefisk.
Die laughing.
Oh, I love that. Well, it is. It's you know, it's like there's certain things, and I'm weird. Nancy, anything that wiggles, you know.
Yeah, well, okay, Kenya, mopani worms.
Yeah.
In South Africa. Beware of stews.
Yeah. There's things, you know, but you'll have good food out there. I remember everything being pretty good, and you'll have Indian food there too. A lot of Indian food in Kenya. A lot of fresh food. Everything's so fresh.
Is there were a lot of workers there?
Yes, for the railroads.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, the Indians basically built the railroads of Africa.
Right.
Yeah, the Indians, the Chinese, the same thing. You know, they did that over here too, but it was mostly over in the Chinese here, but in India, Indians were in a very big Indian population, especially when you start going towards Mombasa and the coastal areas, Nairobi, very industrious. It's awesome. Like South Africa was like that too. Durban had a huge Indian population. You could go to the Indian market, and oh my gosh, the clothing and the textiles. I mean, I know you're into that part. It's you know, the saris and you know those. Oh man, that's the one thing I really miss, the textiles of Africa, the cloth, and that's what we brought back was like
pretty.
Just pieces of cloth, and I can't explain it to people, but the cloth. They'd call them kikois. Everybody has a different thing, but it's pieces of cloth that you would wrap around yourself, and that's what you would wear during the day because it keeps it all nice and cool. And but the patterns on I wanted to be a textile artist just because of that art of what they do on their cloth. So the African cloth, the beads, the jewelry, and there's just such beautiful people. The people of Kenya are just so beautiful. They're just really,
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little homesick now. You know that happens. That happens. But yeah, well, I'm going to be watching your post, so I'll be happy. So you got to take a photo
live
of Meru.
vicariously through me.
Yes, and take photos of Elsa's camp. You know.
I will for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. We're going to play a song for you. We always like to play music for our guests, and here it is. It's called Traveling. It's from our friend Wally Lauder, And everyone can go to wallylauder.com. And this song, I love to play it for our travel writers and world travelers. And his dad actually also lived in Mali. So lived in Africa. Yeah, so there we go.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thanks so much. You take care and happy travels.
Thank you. Same to you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Driving up the coast of California, oceans to the left, mountains to the right. Pulled off the highway in between, stayed in a hotel for the night. Off a pier in Santa Barbara, there were dolphins swimming around. Sun was coming up over the mountains, the waves were making a rhythmic sound. And I'm traveling, finding my way through this world we're in. Flying on a plane to Africa, cabin was a colorful sight. People speaking words I couldn't understand. It was a world beat party 7 miles high. Drinking funky tea with a bunch of guys outside a mud hut under African skies. Telling tales of the land I'm from, across the sea in America. And I'm traveling, I'm finding my way through this world we're in. I am traveling,